I feel secure in myself to make a contribution. Let my voice and voices like mine heard.
Women's opinions are not equally represented in the media, be it in the press or on television. Women's books are not sold in any of the nearly the same numbers as men's. Women's issues tend to be seen as a fringe or side issue, not central, not core. Women are the majority of the population, and yet our voices are not heard.
What I want is to be treated as an adult woman who has good ideas, who can express her ideas properly, and to be taken seriously.
What I want from life, and mainly from men, because women want it as well, I think, all women, is respect.
As a woman, I strive for independence. That means being in control of my own life, not depending on my parents, charity or a man. I'm my own person. I don't expect or want respect to be handed to me on a plate, but I deserve the chance to earn it, regardless of my sex, as a person, as an individual.
I see a lot of women who have very restricted lives. They rush home every night to go to the supermarket before they get home, to go home to do the housework, to look after the husband who may or may not appreciate them. They have very little time for anything else. And that's the way they live their lives. And personally, I don't think that's the sort of society that women deserve. I think they deserve a lot better than that.
I also want to change male and female stereotypes and to challenge traditional roles that have been carried from generation to generation. I really want to be able to have relationships with people where those roles are not, that are being challenged all the time, really.
Important for women to get out of this role of doing the shopping, cooking, cleaning in order to get into the political parties, trade unions, get into employment in responsible positions and start to take the decision-making roles. Until we have that, we're never going to have any kind of change.
I think professors, head teachers, heads of orchestras, heads of corporations, and senior management in all of those types of organizations need to be at least 50% women for society to change and progress in the new century and the new millennium.
Women in positions of power and those that are there helping those who are not.
I'm not anti-men in any way, some of my best friends are, etc. But I do think that one thing that's missing is what women can add to organisations. I think the power base in organisations is perhaps rather one-sided, perhaps rather narrow. And I find if one is in meetings or trying to plan strategy, that the mix of what men and women bring works very well. If it's just men, it tends to be very, what's the word, thruster, mover, organiser.
I would like to see more women into policy-making positions, because being a woman, I think there would be more understanding, if not more sympathetic, to women's issue. And I think women are capable, together with men, to take decisions either for men or for women, and so both men and women will benefit, and the society as a whole will benefit as well.
I'd like more women in government. I'd like a Lords and Ladies House of Lords.
The world still is very much a world that's defined and run by a fairly small group of men in the political field. The European Parliament, every time you see members of heads of state on television, you just see a row of grey suits. And now that Margaret Thatcher has gone, you don't even see her. And I think that times should have changed. I don't think that's permissible anymore. And the Scandinavian countries have got a lot more women in government, and I think that Britain must move towards this.
Personally, I'd like to see a lot more cross-border cooperation, especially in Europe. And I don't mean federalism, I mean politicians not using issues which are very important to people, such as our health and food safety, as political footballs. I think it's wrong.
If I think of Parliament now, I think of MPs who chose to have a shooting gallery instead of a creche. And it's these values, these attitudes and these ideas that we have to change.
I think one of the things that's wrong with society at the moment is the overweening drive for success, for profit, for career advancement. And while I feel all of those things, I don't think they should be absolute priorities.
I want to be Prime Minister for the day, or week, or year. First thing I'd change would be the working hours. I can't understand why we have to work for 5 days a week and have just 2 days off. When do we spend our money? So I'd choose to have 3 days working and 4 days off. That's a much better arrangement.
I think there should be better freelance jobs, part-time jobs and more job shares.
Stimulation in the workplace.
I wish there was such a thing as a minimum wage, because I think people have to work far too long, too many hours for such a low wage.
I think women have a right to be paid a fair wage for their labour.
Better childcare facilities. So if you want to go back to work, you can put your children somewhere without having to worry about how much it costs. Pigeons. Can you see the pigeons?
I would like to see more and cheaper childcare facilities, because as it stands now, to put a baby into a nursery, full-time nursery, it costs well over £600 per month, which is, as you would agree, well over 2/3 of an average salary.
In Britain we get a very low rate of paternity leave. It's one of the lowest in Europe. My company has in the past given 2 days paternity leave, and they're about to put that up to a week. But it's really not enough. It's a major life event for men, and to only grant them 2 days for the birth of their own child is really not good enough.
Another thing I think is really important. Daddy! Is Daddy! Daddy's very important.
I'd like to see an end to the propaganda against single parents, so they weren't blamed for all the social problems of the world. And I'd like to see an increase in workplace nurseries, so that being a single parent wouldn't mean being poor forever.
Mum's really helped me, because my dad sort of buggered off, but my mum's just finished university doing a degree in technology, and she passed with first degree honours, and she looks after 5 children, and I'm just really proud of her, and she inspires me to try and get what I want without other people getting in my way.
I want lots of kids, and I want a big house in the country with a big garden for them to play in.
I'd like to know why our children's playgrounds are like prison exercise yards.
What I want is I want planners and politicians and economists and everybody to put children on the agenda. We've done it for ecology, now let's do it for children, because if you make any situation safe and happy for children, you're almost creating heaven on earth.
I think that teaching is one of the most important professions, and that in fact it should be one of the most prestigious and highly paid things that a person can choose to do.
I think that if artists could be seen to have a lot to contribute
to the general quality of people's everyday lives, either by more public sculpture or murals or classes or things that even could involve the public in making, you know, as community projects. If there were more of those, I think everyone's attitudes would change and artists could be seen as a very valuable part of the community.
What I want is more say in the UK for black women. As it is, black women do a lot, but they are heard the least, if they are heard at all.
I want Asian women to be respected for their choices. I want them to be encouraged to be ambitious and independent by other Asian men, by their parents. I want parents to understand that live as a second generation Asian woman living in England, we can combine the benefits of living of our Eastern origins and living in the Western world to our benefit.
I want to see racism and sexism being things of the past. I want to see all kinds of beliefs tolerated and understood.
I've been paying into a local government pension fund for the last 22 years, so that in the event of my death, my partner will receive some money. But unfortunately, that's not possible because she and I are lesbians. I would like to see that changed so that we get equality with the others.
I'd like to see a lot more tolerance in the world. I'd like to see more patience, particularly in the way that adults deal with each other on a day-to-day level.
I really dream of a world where the human person, mother, child, the weakest of human persons, is really the center of our concern.
And above all, I want to see peace in the world, the end to war, and hope for everybody who needs it.
I believe that warfare, racism, environmental degradation, and exploitation of women all come from a common cause. I'm not sure I know what the word for that is, but I see common links in the abuse or the exploitation of anyone who is seen to be weaker than oneself. So what I'd say I'd want is an end to war and an end to rapes anywhere, ever again.
I want rape to be recognised as a war crime. Most of us have seen that picture of that woman in the former Yugoslavia who hung herself. A lot of people attributed that to rape. Rape in war is not taken seriously. It's not the spoils of war. It ruins the lives of women and girls, and it has an impact on future generations.
I think we've really got to sort the legal system out for ourselves, have far more women counsels, and far more women circuit judges, and far more women in juries to do with cases which affect women.
The other thing that concerns me is that everything these days is valued by its cash value, its money value. The Crown Prosecution Service decides which cases to forward to the courts and which not to by the costs. This is not justice in my mind. I want everything to be much, much fairer.
I think there are a lot of things that concern me. I think what I would like most importantly is a safe society to live in. That means we've got to crack down on sexual violence, on domestic violence, all sorts of violence, you know, towards women. It's very worrying. To do that, we have to start having proper sentencing.
What I want most of all is to be respected as a human being. Not to be battered, not to be raped, not to be killed in my home, at work, at play, because I'm a woman.
Crime against women on public transport is something that's
difficult to actually pinpoint. For instance, coming home late at night, you can see a group of young men who come up to you and say, "Come on, darling, cheer up, it might never happen." And although nothing physical has actually been directed to you, this is actually very threatening. I recognise too that similar situations might occur for men, but it's very important that women feel less threatened on public transport.
I'd like to be able to walk at night without feeling afraid.
Well, in my view, the most pressing and outstanding need for women right now is for transportation, safe, frequent, easily accessible, easily affordable, convenient transportation.
If I felt safer to travel on public transport late at night, I would consider getting rid of my car. This is an environment issue, and if more people felt safe to travel on public transport, then there could be less pollution into the environment.
I'd like to see an end to the road building madness in this country, because I think we're ruining everything that's worth hanging on to and living for.
I'd like to have a pollution-free earth. I'd like to have clean seas, free from toxic dumping. I'd like to have a clean water supply and a clean earth, free from pollution from herbicides and pesticides and things like that. And clean food, organic food. I'd like to have organic, healthy cosmetics.
I think most of our energies, or a lot of our energies, should be steered towards our environment much more than it is now. I don't know, can we not cut the wars? Can we not put a total stop to rainforest destruction? Recycling, much more recycling. Stopping the traffic. Starting car schemes in big cities. Car scheme incentives.
I also want to encourage other people and inspire other people to become more aware of their environment and to care for the planet.
It is not necessary to destroy your soul.
My grand vision is for planetary healing.
To radically reduce the power of multinational corporations and educate people in health and planet management, and to end the cycle of crime and poverty and drugs, homelessness and prison via education.
I'm very concerned about AIDS education in schools and as a general health issue. I think that women aren't informed nearly enough about their potential risks, and the general health education tends to be very much scaremongering tactics.
Breasts have become icons in our time, yet breast cancer is a terrifying and life-threatening disease that something like 1 in 10 women develop, and more than half of those women go on to die of that disease within 5 years.
I'd like to dispel taboos about menstruation, menopause and childbirth.
I want a relationship that lasts longer than time.
We want sex, we want tender, loving care.
To have a feeling of being able to love somebody and also to want to be loved. That's also very important to me, and it's something that I want and I'm trying to achieve.
A good, stirring, good fun romance.
I'd like men to really be able to deal with their emotions and take responsibility for their actions, at least, you know, once in their lifetime, and admit that they do have fears and anxieties just like women, you know, and to stop them pretending, you know, and hiding behind this kind of macho exterior, you know.
I don't really know what I want, because I want what everyone wants of me, and maybe that's middle class, I don't know. But I want to know what I want. That's what I want.
I'd like to be a professional photographer, as it's something I've dreamed of for many years. And I wished I had the confidence to do that, because I've lacked confidence in so many things that it would make me very happy to do that.
When I was asked what do women want, the first thing that struck me was the fact what I've been trying to achieve all my life, which was to build like an inner confidence, to know that I could achieve anything I wanted to do, and also to be sort of like a role model for my younger sisters, to show them that anything's possible.
What women want? What do we want?
I want an Aston Martin DB6.
I also want West Ham to win the Premiership next year. Shiny things, and I'd also really, really like one of those tartan plaid lap rugs.
I want calorie-free chocolate. I want to look like Marlene Dietrich.
What else? I feel like I'm being really kind of serious and like therapy.
Oh, I've lost it. How about you want to take the first one? I'm just kind of losing it.
Oh. Yes, of course. You should do it again.
Another thing, football, yes. Another thing I think is really important. Daddy! Is Daddy? I can't speak if I'm like this. my breath will just go, bleh. What am I going to say?